Now listen, I know I said I wasn't going to make another video talking about Death Stranding until I played it myself and I was ready to give my first impressions and thoughts on the game, and that's not what this video is. I'm not giving my thoughts and impressions on it yet, and I apologize, but I felt the need to make this video because I noticed a lot of you were telling me, MBG, you should talk about this. And there is a very specific reason I want to talk about it, because after looking it over, it is clear that Death Stranding is in fact getting review bombed on Metacritic. Now, should it matter to you? Absolutely not. Should it matter to anybody who has any interest in this game whatsoever? Absolutely not. But you know what? The main message I want to get across with this video, after we go over this a little bit here, is simple. Decide for yourself whether you want to play the game or not, and just don't listen to anything else. Don't even listen to me at this point, because we're at a point now where things are getting so extreme and things are so polarizing and people are just acting like such fools with this game that you really need to just look at the game and decide for yourself. But looking at this here, there is a score right now of 6.3. That is the user score for Death Stranding currently, and there's about 2,081 ratings and 957 reviews, and there's about 800 negative reviews. But the problem here is when you start to look and you start to scroll down and you look more and more, you start to see that there are a lot, and I mean a lot, of zeros, a lot of ones, a lot of twos being thrown around. And I can assure you this, okay, and this is another thing I want to get across in this video. I know there's a lot of people who think that I've overhyped Death Stranding, that I'm behind it no matter what, and I've already spoken my piece on this. I've already explained that at the end of the day, I'm appreciative of the game and what it tries to do, regardless of what I end up thinking about it, but I do, have high expectations for it. I'm a big Hideo Kojima fan, and I'm a fan of his past work. I've already explained all this ad nauseum at this point. But if you're somebody who wants to try to argue with me as to why Death Stranding is not a 10 out of 10 game, I'm open for that conversation, okay? I'm not going to shut that down. I'm not going to tell you you're completely wrong, the game is a 10 out of 10, because that's just not fair. There's clearly a lot of things here that people point to that could clearly make it a not 10 out of 10 game, right? Maybe like an 8 out of 10 game, 7 out of 10, even a 6 out of 10 I could understand. But if you want to sit here and try to argue to me why this game is a 0 out of 10, specifically a 0 out of 10. Like, okay, maybe there's some people who are like, well, if reviewers are going to call the game not fun and boring and tedious and give it a 10 out of 10 or 9.5 out of 10, then I think the game should get a 2 or 3 out of 10, right? Like, to offset that. Whatever. Okay, I guess you can make a case for that, but a 0 out of 10. Listen, this game is not a 0 out of 10. No game is really a 0 out of 10. I mean, a 0 out of 10, how bad would a game have to be? I literally can't think of a single game right now off the top of my head that I would say warrants a 0 out of 10. I'm sure a lot of you right now are thinking of one, and if you are, be sure to let me know down in the comments below what game pops in your head when you think it deserves a 0 out of 10. Obviously, it's extreme. There's probably only a very few rare distinct cases that deserve a 0 out of 10. But of course, I'm trying to speak logically here when we can clearly see, based off of what's happening with the user reviews on Metacritic here, that people are just taking extreme stances. There's a lot of people who probably feel compelled to give the game a 10 out of 10 just automatically because they're seeing how many people are out here just giving the game zeros. And so not a single professional reviewer, I mean, even the lowest score from a so-called professional reviewer for Death Stranding was a 3.5 out of 10, right? Which is as absolutely no business getting a score that low. You don't even have to play the game to know that, right? But even then, like, no reviewer is giving it a 2 or 1 or a 0. Like, at that point, they would lose all credibility if I could speak. But yeah, it's just so sad to see this happening. I don't think a game like Death Stranding deserves to get review bombed. I mean, I understand if it's not your type of gameplay. I can understand if you're a little bit upset because you think that maybe this Kojima's getting special treatment because of his name and everything and his stance within the industry. I can understand that, but to come out here and try to bring something like this down to this extent, it's just like I'm literally looking at this right now, and I see 3 0 scores in a row. And right below that is a 2, a 3, a 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. And, granted, there are a lot of people who are giving explanations. Like, that's the thing. If you if you look at some of these explanations, some of them do sound like, oh, okay, like they're actually critiquing the game, and then you just see a 0. And I guess, like, that's how some people feel about some of the 10 out of 10 reviews that Death Stranding has gotten, where there's a lot of critiques to the game, and then they're just surprised to see a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I get that, but come on, guys. Like, a 0? Like, really? Like, you're going to tell me Death Stranding is a 0 out of 10 game? Come on. Like I said, I'll listen to the argument that it may not be a 10 out of 10 game or even a 9 out of 10 game. I'll listen to those arguments. But I'm not going to listen to the argument that someone is trying to tell me this game's a 0 or 1 or 2 or even a 3 out of 10, because it's not. Alright, like, I don't think you understand, like, just how bad a game needs to be that low. But yeah, there we go. Death Stranding, unfortunately, is getting review bombed, and there's really nothing we can do about it. Again, I want to end this video on the most positive note I can, and that is just play the game for yourself. Don't even pay attention to any of this stuff. Don't pay attention to reviews at this point. I'm sure at this point anybody who is playing Death Stranding or who's thinking about buying it relatively soon has already made their decision, and they kind of know what they're in for and what to expect. So just make the decision for yourself. It's unfortunate that this has to happen, but hey, it is what it is. So at this point, I'm going to ask you to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Leave the video a like if you did enjoy it, or if you found it somewhat informative. Be sure to leave the video a like as well if you are enjoying Death Stranding, so that way that'll be an easy way for people to let me know that they're feeling pretty good about it. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, hit the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload, and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.